Hi everyone, we are really excited to be here today to present our group project for organization and strategy. And here we are team from San Francisco College, and this is Anshu.
Hi, my name is Suheera.
And hi, this is Laxmi Aishwarya.
Next slide, please. For this project, we decided to explore something that affects everything in your workplace, whether people love going to work or count the hours till they life, so till they live, and that's the organizational culture. What does organization culture mean? Let me explain it in a simple way. How about every family has its own way of doing things? Like some families eat dinner together at every night, while others like relax and see watching TVs like that. So it is their own way of organizing their things. It is similar to when coming to the professional life in company. Organizations are like same as I said example. So every company has its own vibe, its own way of doing things, and it is basically how things work inside a company and how you feel it, and it's like making of values, beliefs, attitudes, and the way people behave at work. It shapes how discussions are made and how people treat each other, even off the office space is designed. And the interesting thing is not it is it is not written always in the book, but it is like how we feel about the organization, how it works, and how people are treated, how we communicated in the office like that. So when come next slide, please. So coming to our project, we have decided to talk about Google and IBM. And in before slide, can you show before slide? We can see there are four different types of organization cultures in the left image. Like there is a different kind of organization cultures, like how some company feels like families are having clean cultures, then there is a advocacy culture and hierarchy culture and traditional cultures. So this frame really helped us to understand how these two companies are we studied in Google and IBM. Coming to fourth slide, our main goal is in this project to analyze and compare the organization cultures of two major companies, Google and IBM. Both are like successful companies with having a global tech gains, but they operate very differently when it comes to their workplace setup and employee experiences and internal values. So we thought it would be interesting to dig into the contrast and see how culture plays a main key role in shaping the strategy and success. So coming to the fifth slide, why I have chosen like Google and IBM only? Because Google is known for being casual, playful, and super creative. When compared with IBM, it is like more traditional and strict, like structured and professional way. So these two companies shows us how two completely different cultures can still lead to great success in their own way, like in their own environment or cultures. So they gave us a perfect example how much workplace culture can vary even within the same industries. So Google and IBM is like big tech industries with having like they are like competitive to each other in creating their own projects. So here we will learn more about Google and IBM separately. So you rejoin the so here my teammate may continue the next slide.
Hello, everyone. My name is Suheera, and as told by my teammate Anushu Papani, today we would like to explore the contrasting workspaces of two global tech giants, that is the IBM and Google. As we speak about it, it is very important for us to address the focus on the organization structure, employee well-being, growth, and workplace models. Here I would be placing a special emphasis on Google, a company often viewed as a modern day blueprint for workplace innovation. So, here let us begin with the organizational structure of the workplace. So, here as you can see in these images, we could see that the workplace of Google is quite informal. People are working at their own pace and they have an open structure layout which is flat and flexible. As per the images, we could also see that the Google as a firm promotes collaboration over hierarchy, giving employees across levels to autonomy they contribute, and also the teams work cross functionally, and the environment, as we can see, visibly shows that it is foster free, which has the ideas flowing in, and it also shows that there is no centralized way of working out things, and the images are also like we can see that the workplaces are also very much innovative without any excessive red tape kind of a culture. And moving forward with the other image, we could see that the Google is fostering fun time at workplaces. And it is all about the employee well-being and the growth rather than just working on traditional kind of companies who just focus on goals. So this is where the Google truly shines by improvising the workplaces where they focus more on the employee well-being and where they introduce such fun time at work just to give them a leisure where they could also achieve their where they could clear up their mental spaces but also simultaneously work on the goals of the company. And here we could see that more than just perks that are being offered at the Google, Google deeply invests in growth and learning and employee engagement, let it be in terms of a food that they're eating or the games that they're playing or the place they are sitting. It is all very much creative and rooted towards the overall development of an employee, not just over the table, but also growing them as good leaders, good fortune members, let it be emotionally, physically, and mentally. And overall, I would say that the Google foundational values don't just reflect onto working on towards the goals, but the technology is also responsible and prioritizes the employee overall well-being as well. And we can see in these images that there is no hierarchy, like people are just sitting out on the lounges, discussing their day-to-day tasks. So Google employees, we can see that they are very much represented in future forward thinking, human centered workplaces that prioritizes collaboration, creativity, and holistic well being. With the ease of working, it also breaks down that the traditional barriers that were there in certain companies would be decentralized. But if you're looking to work in an environment like this, surely spaces where the ideas breathe. So, this is quite innovative for Google to come up with these workplaces like this to create a golden standard in employee overall development. Over to you, Lakshmi Aishwarya, where you would be speaking about the IBM.
Yeah. Now we just got to know that, what exactly your presentation speaks about and why did we choose Google and IBM and how the Google Workplace is completely all about. Now I'm about to give you a brief introduction about how IBM Workplace gonna look like. Now you just saw a very joyful, playful kind of a workplace till now, but now you're gonna move on to a very disciplined, formal, and hierarchical kind of organization. But still, it is one of a great tech giant that we already mentioned by one of my teammate. But this is how the different cultures are there, how different employees still maintain to keep themselves in that. So this is what the further I'm gonna speak about is now when I just move on with the IBM workplace, what exactly that speaks is about, like, the main very first thing about I speak about IBM is like, it is well known for its professionalism work kind of a thing. And then next, it also speaks about how structured and organized way it has and how formal it is toward its organization, which is completely a goal oriented, and it doesn't even look on the different innovation and creativity based on the other that the Google has. That the reason the Google speaks about a lot of innovations though compared to that of the IBM. Now we're gonna look on to few factors. Why am I just saying that IBM is formal? Because I do have a background things for this. I'm gonna look on to four different things that is quite enough for me to like give you a special thing about that why IBM is a formal kind of a thing with a hierarchical thing. Now, just when I just come to the very first thing that speaks about the formal workplace and restrictive sitting arrangement, what does that exactly mean? Now, in an office, you just have your restricted place where you have to be seated. And in IBM, the offices and the places for the employees are cubically made, and they are designed in a very organized way, so that you don't have any spontaneous interaction between your employees, with your colleague. So they have designed it in that particular way that you can just don't even get interaction with your employee, and you are completely focused towards your work. And you are really assigned to that particular kind of an organized design structure over there. So this is the very first thing that you can make completely, that how formal and how old tradition it is quite going on to be. Then moving on to the next slide, it speaks about staked social lunch places and less potent networking. What does that mean exactly? Now, when we just get our free time, we would definitely like to spend time with the different people. We want to socialize with the people, get a good networking with the people, get to know what are the things going on in the real life and everything. Google provides that, as already mentioned by one of my teammate, that the Google, if you have a lunchtime and if you're working in a Google office, you can just go wherever you want and sit and have your lunch. But it's not with an IBM. In IBM, you have a complete discipline, strict rules that to be followed. You are assigned that if you are doing a lunch, you have a lunch room, go there, sit, have your lunch, and finish your lunch and get back to your work. So that you don't get time to get socialized with the people. You are all busy with having your lunch, then again moving on with it doesn't give you any social kind of an environment. This is what the IBM follow for that thing. Now moving on to the next slide, it speaks about, can we just switch to the next one? Poor recreation center and focus only on corporative goals. Now see, when we were in school, we do know that we do have any of the play period. Yep. uh, Leave about the school. Now when we just doing our masters also, we do have something different from our studies, which gives a stress buster kind of a thing. The Google provides that to its employee, because they have to deal a lot of different things, lot of work pressure and everything. So they can just move on, have play some chess, table tennis, then have a good walk in the launch, or they can just have a relaxing pot, or they can just have a proper nap or everything. These were the things that they can just spend their time and relax themselves. The Google provide that well-being to them, but IBM does not provide that. It has a very poor recreation. It always wants its employee to be corporate, have the corporate goals and be goal oriented towards the organization, but irrespective of their well-being or their health. It only focuses on the policies that it has with it. Then again, speaking on directed completely towards the policies, it speaks about only you are completely goal oriented person, and the employees who literally wanted to be a goal oriented one with that kind of a discipline would definitely outshine at the IBM. Now moving on to the last one, it speaks about the clearly defining the departments and the role. What this is where it completely defined that IBM is a hierarchical kind of thing. You have different departments with the different responsibilities, along with which they have their functions, roles that need to be played, and they are quite responsible for their particular roles. Now if I have a particular role that need to be performed, I am definitely responsible for that. So being in a Google, you are a new intern and you have a complete right to put on your new thoughts, new things, and take a lot of risk in that. But when it comes to IBM, you don't have that chance. You are allowed to do the work what has been assigned to you by your HR, by your manager, but you're not allowed to take any kind of risk, because they doesn't want to take any risk. They doesn't Because the risk might be a positive or a negative outcome. So it is completely top to down approach. It's like what your manager says, that need to be done by a new attendee. So this is what the difference. You can just look on that how IBM, it has a great traditional discipline professionalism, but it doesn't speak about innovation, but it always look on completing the goals objective that an organization that keep providing. Now I would like to switch on to my teammate who gonna just speak about the contrast, give a verses of things of these things.
That was very well said, Aishwarya. So, as we have discussed about the Google and IBM, so let us quickly have a contrast understanding of Google and IBM in terms of four major structures, which is environment, culture, team collaboration, and employee well-being. So, talking about the environment, Google, as we have seen in the images, it was open, playful, and colorful. It was quite interactive for the employees to have a quick check on a day-to-day basis. But whereas IBM, it was quite structured, formal, and muted, which was much more in a uniformed manner. Working in cubicles was one such example. And talking about the culture, Google's culture was quite fun, and it has a clan-based operation system where everything was quite welcoming. But whereas in the IBM, it seemed to show that they're following the hierarchy and had more market potential while clearing up stuff like this. And next about the team collaboration, we could see that the Google has a open flat layout where it was spontaneous for any level hierarchy to just come and sit and interact with the opposite guy. And it was quite flexible as well, because we could see that there was no cubicle kind of a setup, and where people are open to express their ideas, they're open to vocalize their thoughts. However, IBM is working in a very scheduled manner. They are policy driven, and to be honest, it was like a old school system working in the old kind of offices. And next, talking about the employee well being, it is very much clearly understood that Google has strong focus on employee wellness that just grew them not just as a person, but also they were focusing on 360 employee well-being. But however, IBM just focused on the professional side of the employee, which is more about structured wellness, and it is all about the goal orientation for the employee. So, this is what we have drawn together as a team for about Google and IBM. And over to you, Anshu.
Thank you, guys. You both have explained it very well. And here I am concluding the video. So, to be honest, this project has opened our eyes to how deeply organizational culture shapes a company, not just on surface, but from the inside and out. So, at first, it might seem like culture is about having fun office spaces or whether people wear jeans or suits to work, but it goes very deeper when we go inside. So, culture is about like what's valued, what's rewarded, like how people are treated, how they treat each other. It's like making someone feel like I belong to here, this place, like this company. And here they both explain about Google and IBM very well. And these are like powerful contrasts. Like Google is creative classrooms, very ideas. And where we look into them, it takes like own risks. And even failure is a part of the journey of Google. So when we come to organization culture of a Google, it is like advocacy culture, like one that values innovation, autonomy, and thinking differently. Their open space, flexible hours, and fun approach is like with peak, and their reflection of how much they trust their employees is like amazing in working like Google. And when compared with IBM, it is like more well organized labs, and everything is like in place in a particular professional way. And the people they give like particular roles to their people and like focusing on the results and the projects. That is a great example of hierarchy cultures like that thrives on a structure, rules, and reliability. This is not a bad thing, but it allows them to handle complex systems and grow global operations and not long-term projects with confidence. So, what do you think? Like, and you know what? Like, those both cultures works very well because they have learned it such best cultures. It's not a competition between fun and formal. It's about alignment, how the company's missions are working, the values, and how they're hiring the peoples. So a strong culture, flexible or structured, it gives employees very clarity. It helps them to know what expected or what appreciated. Like it makes them to feel successful in their journey. And in the end, we realize that culture is not just building a leadership, but is building everyone, like every small innovation, discussions, conversations are added to the cultures. And when culture is right, people don't just do the jobs, they feel connected to the something bigger one in their companies. And that is our conclusion. And next slide is our references. And thank you so much for being such a great audience. We really enjoyed everything, explaining the topics, exploring the topic, and we have hope you have got the difference between the organization culture of IBM and Google. And if you have, we are happy to take any questions or comments through comments of your thoughts.